Have you ever played puzzles? Picture puzzles are interesting, and every little piece has its own place in the puzzle and is essential building unit just like cells in living organisms. The cell is a fundamental unit of life. It has its designated role in the body of an organism so that an organism may live. Hello, I am a cell. I am a building unit of every organism. But I was unknown until Mr. Robert Hooke, an English scientist in 1665, spotted me through a microscope in the dead cord tissue and gave me the name based on my structure. He looked at a thin slice of cork with his primitive microscope. He found tiny room-like structures which looked like honeycomb and called them cells. He saw only the outer cell wall as the cork cells are not alive. Then Leeuwenhoek in 1674 with an improved microscope discovered free living cells in pond water for the first time, and he called them wee beasties. Wee means little and beasties means animal. So the animals who are very little and can only be visible through the microscope. Then in 1831, Mr. Robert Brown discovered nucleus in the cell. Purkinje in 1839 coined the term protoplasm for the fluid substance of the cell. Protoplasm consists of cytoplasm and nucleus. When you look into the plasma membrane, which is the outermost covering of most cells, you will find protoplasm, which is a combination of cytoplasm and nucleus. Two scientists, Schleiden in 1838, who was a German botanist, and Schwann in 1839, who was a German physician, proposed the cell theory. According to the cell theory, all living organisms, whether it is plant or animal, are made up of cells. They are the basic structural or organizational unit of all organisms. In 1855, Rodolphe Virchow further expanded the cell theory by saying omnis cellula e cellula, which means all cells arise from pre-existing cells. All living organisms are made up of cells. Cell is derived from a Latin word cellula, which means a little room. Cells are too small and visible only under the microscope. Peel off the thin inner layer of onion with the help of a forceps and look under the microscope by keeping it on the glass slide. Small chambers-like structure called cells can be observed. Each cell contains a prominent vacuole, nucleus, and cytoplasm. Now scrape the inner side of your cheek with the help of an ice cream stick. Look it under the microscope by again keeping it on the glass slide. These cells have darkly stained spherical nuclei at their center. These small structures that we see are basic building units of all organisms. However, there are also single cells that live on their own, like amoeba, chlamydomonas, paramecium, yeast, and bacteria. These organisms are called unicellular organisms. Uni means single. On the other hand, in organisms like fungi, plants, animals, multiple cells group together to form different tissues. These organisms are called multicellular organisms. Multi means many. Every multicellular organism has come from a single cell. How? Cells divide to produce cells of their own kind. Remember, all cells come from pre-existing cells. Do you know how living organisms perform the basic functions of their body? Different cells come together to form tissues, and tissues combine together to form organs. Different organs perform different functions according to the jobs assigned to them, and they combine together to form organ system. Different organ systems form an organism. Different cells have different jobs allotted to them. They all work as a team so that the body of an organism can perform all basic activities. All functions within a unicellular organism are carried out by a single cell itself. For example, in amoeba, single cell is responsible for movement, intake of food, exchange of gases, and excretion. On the other hand, in multicellular organism, different organs perform different functions to make life possible. For example, humans has lungs for the respiration. They have digestive system for digestion, and they have heart to pump the blood all over the body. Living organisms are also classified as eukaryotes and prokaryotes based on the organization of cellular structure. Prokaryotes are unicellular organisms like bacteria and archaea, composed of membrane and cytoplasm, lacking the well-defined nucleus due to the lack of nuclear membrane, and also lacking organelles like eukaryotic cells, mitochondria, chloroplast, and endoplasmic reticulum. They are not present in prokaryotic cells. In addition, it has a cell wall that supports the cell. The bacterial cell wall consists of peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan means protein and polysaccharide. They combine to form peptidoglycan, an essential protective barrier for bacterial cells. The eukaryotic cell is the building block of life for some unicellular organisms like protozoa and multicellular organisms like fungi, plants, and animals. It is characterized by keeping its genetic material packed within a membrane called as nuclear membrane, forming the nucleus. It also has other intracellular structures surrounded by membranes known as organelles like mitochondria, vesicles, chloroplast, Golgi bodies are few of them. There is some dissimilarity as well as similarity between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Like prokaryotes are the oldest cell type, they are small and simple, they lack nucleus, they lack organelles, they are single-celled, and they have single circular chromosome. On the other hand, eukaryotes, they are evolved from prokaryotes. They are larger and more complex. They contain nucleus. They contain all the organelles, and they may be single-celled or multicellular, and they have multiple linear chromosomes. The similarity is that they both have DNA, they both have ribosomes, they both have cytoplasm, and have plasma membrane around the cell. Now let's take closer look of an eukaryotic cell. An eukaryotic cell must have a plasma membrane, cytoplasm, and nucleus. Let's look at this new cell. Have you noticed any difference in it? Yes, it is a plant cell and it has a cell wall around it. The cell wall is the outermost covering of plant cells and is non-living and rigid. It separates the cell content from the surroundings and gives shape and protection to the plant cells. It is composed of cellulose and is permeable, means it allows the entry of all the materials inside and outside. The next membrane is plasma membrane or cell membrane. It is a living membrane made up of lipoproteins. The plasma membrane is semi-permeable, means it allows the movement of some substances in and out of the cell. Now let's see the ways in which the substances move through it. There is a spontaneous movement of gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration to form homogeneous solution through diffusion. In homogeneous solution, the concentration of solute and solvent is same at both the sides. The diffusion of solvent molecules means the diffusion of water is called as osmosis. Now, how the osmosis takes place? Here we have taken three types of solutions. One is hypotonic solution, which has low solute concentration and high water concentration. Now if you will keep your cell inside such type of solution, the water will come inside and the cell will swell up. Means the cell will become turgid. And this process is called as endosmosis. Now, if you will keep your cell in isotonic solution, which has same water concentration as the cell has, so the amount of water which will go inside, the same amount of water will come outside. So there will not be any difference in the shape of the cell. The third solution is hypertonic solution, in which the solute concentration is high and water concentration is low. If you will keep your cell in such type of solution, the water will come out of the cell, and this process is called as exosmosis. Now let us see the difference between endosmosis and exosmosis. In endosmosis, the inflow of solvent into a cell from outside when cell is placed in distilled water means hypotonic solution. Cell swells up in this case. And in exosmosis, the outward flow of water from the cell when placed in more concentrated solution like sugar solution, which is called as hypertonic solution, cell shrinks in this case. When the cell loses water through osmosis, the cell contents shrink away from the cell wall, and this is called as plasmolysis. Plasma means fluid content and lysis means water coming out. So when the water comes out of the cell shrinks and leaves the cell wall. This is nucleus, which is the headquarter of the cell. It has nucleolus inside it and double-layered nuclear membrane surrounds its surface. It has nuclear pores, which regulates the transportation of molecules between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. The nucleus has entangled mass of thread-like structures called chromatin material. When the cell is about to divide, these chromatin material group together to form chromosomes, which has DNA and protein. Inside the cell membrane, we have protoplasm. Remember, we have studied that the protoplasm is the combination of nucleus and cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is clear, thick, jelly-like material consists of cytosol, which is a semi-fluid substance filling the interior of the cell and cell organelles. This is endoplasmic reticulum, which is an irregular network of double tubular membrane continuous with the nuclear membrane from inside. There are two types of endoplasmic reticulum. One is rough endoplasmic reticulum, which is responsible for the protein synthesis, and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, which is responsible for lipid synthesis. The rough endoplasmic reticulum has ribosomes attached to it. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum functions in many metabolic processes. It synthesizes lipids used in plasma membranes and phospholipids, which are used in the production of steroid-based hormones. Cells that secrete these products, such as cells of the testes, ovaries, and skin oil glands, have an excess of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum functions in the degradation of toxin and help in its removal. Hence, they are densely present in liver cells. Ribosomes are naked particles not surrounded by a membrane, made up of rRNA and proteins. Ribosome function as a micro machine for making proteins. Here is the Golgi body, which is also known as Golgi apparatus or Golgi complex, functions as a factory in which proteins and lipids received from the endoplasmic reticulum are further processed, packed and sorted for transport to their eventual destinations. like lysosomes, plasma membrane, or secretion outside the cell. Named after its discoverer Camillo Golgi, the Golgi body appears as a series of stacked membranes. In plants, it is called as dictyosome. This is mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of a cell. The outer membrane has many pores that are big enough to allow the passage of ions and molecules as large as a small protein. The intermembrane space, IMS, is the space between the inner membrane and the outer membrane of the mitochondria. The inner mitochondrial membrane is both an electrical insulator and can allow specific molecules to cross this barrier. The matrix which is present inside the inner membrane has respiratory enzymes which facilitates the reactions responsible for the production of ATP. Lysosome. A lysosome is a membrane-bound cell organelle that contains digestive enzymes. Lysosomes are involved with various cell processes. They break down excess or worn-out cell parts. Lysosomes can help it to self-destruct in a process called programmed cell death or apoptosis, also called as suicidal bag of a cell. Storage granules are membrane-bounded vesicles containing condensed materials. They are also known as zymogen granules or condensing vacuoles. They may be of two types based on the material which they have stored in it, like starch granules or lipid granules. A vacuole is a membrane-bound cell organelle. In animal cells, vacuoles are generally small and help in taking away the waste products, while in plant cells, vacuoles help in maintaining water balance. Sometimes a single vacuole can take up most of the interior space of the plant cell. They are separated from the cytoplasm by a single membrane called chromoplast. Cell sap is a fluid that is present in the vacuole of the plant cell. One more special feature which is present only in the plant cell, which is plastids. They are double membrane organelles which are found in the cells of the plant, algae, and some photosynthetic bacteria. Plastids are responsible for manufacturing and storing of food. These often contain pigments that are used in photosynthesis and different types of pigments that can change the color of the cell, like chloroplast, which contain chlorophyll, which is a green pigment that absorbs sunlight in photosynthesis and produce and store glucose. Then chromoplast, which contain carotenoids, which is red, orange, and yellow pigment found in flowers and fruit. Then leucoplast, which contain no pigment, which is generally present in the roots, used to store starch, oil, and proteins. Now let us look at the chloroplast structure. Chloroplasts are oval shaped and have two membranes, an outer membrane and an inner membrane. Between the outer and inner membrane is the intermembrane space. The space within the inner membrane is the stroma, the dense fluid which is present in the chloroplast. And the membrane-bound compartments inside chloroplast are called thylakoids. Chloroplast thylakoids frequently form stacks of discs referred to as grana, singular granum. There is some similarity between mitochondria and plastids. Let's see what these similarities are. Mitochondria and plastids are double membrane bound organelles. Mitochondria and plastid in their outer membrane have porine proteins, which is a special protein helps in making the layer more permeable. Mitochondria and plastids have some of their own DNA for protein synthesis. Hence they are called as semi-autonomous cell organelles. But there is some difference between mitochondria and plastids. Mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell. It's responsible for the production of energy in the form of ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, in the cell, which is used for aerobic respiration. and mitochondria is present in all eukaryotic cells. Plastids help in the production and storage of food, especially glucose. They are only found in plants, algae, and some bacteria. Hey, there are two cells. One is an animal cell and another one is the plant cell. Can you spot any difference in both? Yes, they do have some difference. The first difference in their size. Plant cell is larger in size in comparison to the animal cell. Second difference is that the plant cells do have cell wall, and which is completely absent in animal cell. Then vacuole, which is usually larger in plant cells. Cytoplasm. In plant cells, cytoplasm is pushed to periphery due to large vacuole, but in animal cells, cytoplasm is dense and fills the entire cell. Then lysosome, almost absent in plant cells. As the cell grows, it needs to divide into two, and cell division is very crucial for the growth of an organism. During cell division, a cell duplicates all of its contents, including its chromosomes, and splits to form two identical daughter cells. Cell division may be studied in two forms: meiotic cell division or mitotic cell division. During mitotic or mitosis division, first of all, karyokinesis takes place, in which the division of nucleus takes place. It happens in four stages: prophase, then metaphase, then anaphase, and the last one is telophase. And then cytokinesis means the division of cytoplasm takes place. After which the two daughter cells get apart from each other. Second one is meiotic cell division, which happens in the reproductive cells of all animals. It takes place in two stages. First of all, meiotic first, which is the reduction division, and then meiotic second, which is very much similar to the mitotic division. Children, let's take a quick revision of what we have learned so far. Cells are the building blocks of all organisms. Unicellular means single-celled organisms, or multicellular means many-celled organisms. The cell was first discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665 in a dead cork cell. Antony von Leeuwenhoek was another scientist who saw cells in pond water. He was the first to see living cells. Then Robert Brown discovered nucleus in the cell. Schleiden and Schwann discovered cell theory. Purkinje discovered protoplasm in the cell. Rudolf Virchow said all cells arise from pre-existing cells. Prokaryotic cells are primitive type cells. They lack nuclear region around genetic material, which is simply called as nucleoid. Eukaryotic cells have all membrane-bound organelles like mitochondria, Golgi bodies, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, and many more. A cell consists of three parts: nucleus, cell membrane, and cytoplasm. Nucleus contains the DNA, and how the cell function is determined by the nucleus, as the nucleus is the headquarters of the cell. Cell wall is a special feature of plant cells. Mitochondria are known as a powerhouse of the cell and have respiratory enzymes. Endoplasmic reticulum is the largest membrane-bound organelle in eukaryotic cells. Performs essential cellular functions, including protein synthesis and processing, lipid synthesis, and calcium ion storage and release. A Golgi body, also known as a Golgi apparatus, is a cell organelle that helps process and package proteins and lipid molecules. A lysosome is a membrane-bound cell organelle that contains digestive enzymes, help in apoptosis, means programmed cell death. Organisms grow because cells are dividing to produce more and more cells. Thank you.